You are watching Weirdo Universe, where wonders take flight. Let's get on to the show.
All right, do you want to start us off this time?
Yeah, this is AJ. I'm Amon, and welcome to Weirdo Universe on our Review Wednesday. Sorry for the delay, folks, but we're doing this on a Saturday night. Sorry for the delay once again, but yeah, as today's episode, the show we're doing is called Lookism. It's a Chinese anime, and the basic sum up is this person that's little overweight, and he's pretty much getting mistreated on the way he looks and how he is, and he kind of takes a negative approach of trying to make friends, but kind of becoming the school pet, you could say, and they've been pretty much shaming, just pretty much almost you could say fat shaming in a way,
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of bullying in this show. So,
like bullying. But one night during that, on the first episode, there's this one night where he just feels like he wants to be different. He wants to look, and that's where the term, and this is what the episode called Lookism comes from.
I'd have to get into some detail and some more research on why they chose the name Lookism. I do believe it is set in Korea. I'm not sure exactly which part of Korea, and I mean that due to the fact that there's north and south. So, yes, specifying.
Okay, well, it's based in Japan. It's based in China, and so he's at the at the school.
Korea.
It is Korea. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye. So
well, Korea. I mean, you could tell it's Korean because
the language they speak is Chinese or Mandarin. For me, it sounded like Chinese to me.
I'd have to rewatch it and see if I could watch it in the original language then. But I know it's Korean because the names of the characters are Korean.
Okay, so all right.
That's why sorry.
AJ's seen most of the series. I want to hand it to him, but I just want to break down like I saw the first episode, and the episode pretty much in the scene. So he gets bullied a lot, and he's blaming on his mom, that the mom's being very protective, but it's just in this society, just as you're like somewhere in your 20s and your mom's trying to like defend you, it just looks very bad. So he uses his hatred of his shame to share it to his mom, to like kind of spill out to his mom. I know he probably doesn't mean it entirely, but he just feels so guilty of how he is, and just pretty much a lot of blame. So he moves to a new place. You know, it's all fancy. I don't know, like fancy. Everyone's dressed all fashiony, and he bumped into someone, and he's soon, I'm gonna get beat up. But instead of this lovely female character, and she was being a little humble, like, oh, sorry, you know, and just he never felt that before since he'd always been bullied where he was originally from. But as the time, and then one night, so it's just he got bullied and the internet took over. But this one night, he wanted to change, and then something happened. As if he was falling asleep, it's almost like he has an ability or given some kind of superpower where he can like change into now a thinner version of himself. And he's like taller, like all these other people are. Like he's all tall, like, you know, got the little kind of like the Asian like makeup, you could say, like just how people are dressed in that society, and not trying to. Hopefully not.
We're not trying to stereotype anything.
Not trying to stereotype, but in this series, if you haven't seen it, people were dressed and look like that. So he got to it. He gets to the school with this, but before that, he realizes he keeps switching. He sees like a person, thinks it's a stranger, but it's actually himself, just different. And it's like I don't know, it's like morphing or something, but it's like this person goes to sleep, then he wakes up to his original self. But if he falls asleep, he can like go to this person, but it's him. So I don't. AJ
Yeah,
will.
it's so. Yeah, I'll get into a little bit of that, breaking it down slightly.
But he goes to school.
But
People are seeing this person, think it's like, whoa, like never seen this person, and then it's like all eyes are on him. So now I'll take away with AJ of the whole series entirely. It's like 6 to 8 episodes.
yeah, it's 8 episodes long. Before I actually get into the little bit of the details itself, I actually found out recently doing some research that we were going to do this on Wednesday originally. So again, forgive us for the slightly late interruption on it. I've had some, I'd say, personal issues, but it wasn't exactly my personal issues. Um, but I ended up doing some research and I found out that they're planning to renew the series for a second season. Um, if if you see that I'm actually kind of holding in excitement for this news, is because if you have seen the series or are planning to watch it, slight spoilers, it does end off with a cliffhanger. Uh, Something that definitely kind of you definitely get an idea of like, okay, well they could have done a bit more with this
I would
series.
like to say I did like the intro, how the music, the
Oh
whole
yeah,
it was like
oh yeah.
rapping. It was like
Yeah,
okay,
the I have some of the music from the show so far on my Spotify playlist already. After I had watched it the first time, and I was just like, this is good. I can't like
and even
I
I was
can't
like,
like
all right,
disagree. I will say, I mean, K-pop or just that genre of music alone, I'm not really a huge fan of, like how some people or a lot of people are, especially with like a lot of the bigger K-pop groups such as like Blackpink, BTS. I know some of the bands and whatnot, some of the groups, but I don't really follow them as hard, not hard, as much as other people do. So I wouldn't consider myself a huge fan of the genre. I do enjoy it when I do listen to it. It definitely has its like just I mean it's interesting to listen to at least. Going into the actual details though, however, um, so the show lookism is like how Amon described it a little bit ago, was that it's a show that starts off with this kid getting bullied, and he does kind of go through this a little bit throughout the series. A bit, it does kind of get a little easier as time goes by because he's usually in his original body is, well, he's not exactly in public during the day, so he's not getting as much attention. Um, Whereas his other body, his more thinner, more popular looking body, is more out in public for the day. So it's really like consciousness transference, or however you want to terminize that. It's really just basically his consciousness gets swapped from one body to the other, and it's quite odd to like actually watch the show and see it because it's like, okay, well, how does this happen? And from what I can tell so far, they don't exactly explain it at all. They do kind of go into like some of the details of like, okay, well, how does the how does this body work while it's awake and stuff like that. So they do get really into like going into the physical attributes of both bodies and a little bit with like the shared effects of such, which is intriguing a little bit for sure. But they don't necessarily give exact reason or explanation on how that happens. Um, moving on from that section, throughout the series, it's definitely about appearances. It's very, very much about appearances. Um, and it really shows how society is today. I mean, you get people who look like basically models, celebrities, could be famous, like people who get told that they should be in movies, TV shows, modeling, etc., stuff like that. And then you get people who are just like basically in terms the average Joe, in a sense. That's kind of how I compare the two within the series. Is that you really get the sense of the underclass and basically the upper class. Um, and for society, as in modern times at least, this is very, very, I'd say, hard because it does require a lot of bullying in a sense. I mean, it happens a lot, and I probably could have turned that a little better than saying required because that wasn't the exact term I wanted to use, but it just kind of popped out. Um, but no, it really does go. It really dives into the depths of how, in a sense, in appearances do look to the public, and it's saddening to watch. It is, but it's also, in a sense, very empowering for the show. I believe that the deeper meaning for this series is that um, you shouldn't, you really shouldn't judge a book by its cover because you really don't know exactly what people go through or what their lifestyle is. So it's really interesting to kind of get that separation between one's original insecurities about their body compared to what they want to look like, which is, I also kind of get the impression of what they did for this series was that they focused on how certain groups of people do feel insecure about how they look, and others are just kind of blessed with uh, a better appearance. And sometimes a lot of people do have the feeling of wanting to look better or have a better sense of an appearance towards others, and where it decreases the value people have on themselves. So again, like it's a really good series. I do highly recommend it to everybody to try and watch it at least, or test it out, see if you like it or not. And who knows? I mean, you might enjoy it, you might not, and if not, then I love to hear what your guys' opinions on it are about this series. And again, it's called Lookism. It's definitely on Netflix. Um, it should also be on Crunchyroll since it is technically considered an anime. So it should be on there as well, and maybe some other streaming services. I'm not quite sure, but I definitely say try it out, see what you think about it. I got Amon here to test it out, and so far he's kind of enjoying it himself,
I
at
saw the
least.
first episode enough, so I thought. I mean, I could continue it, but I'm kind of stuck with other series to finish. But it's just first episode was like was I don't know. I guess I always say the word interesting, but like it's interesting of like of kind of like of a person pretty much getting fat shamed, but not only that, but he's taking a negative approach of trying to make friends instead. he's thinking using bullies is like a way, like, oh look, I'm not, I'm with the cool guys, but it's like, but you're acting like, as they mentioned, like a pig. Like you're making friends on the wrong approach. Because if you see, if with any of us, if you become a pet for a bully, it's not a good sight, really. And that's what I was like, yeesh. And I mean, like when they did the whole, like he got mugged at like in the middle of downtown of some part in Korea where all the fashion is. I mean, at least there were some people with good morals, but there's some that kind of just felt they didn't. It was like in the scene where how he got bullied is because the the person he ran into apparently was a girlfriend of another person. The person took it seriously, which he was just trying to be protective, but the girlfriend was just saying it's all right, but he just that got
Well,
enraged.
that's actually a really ironic part about that scene. I know which one you're talking about. Um, I'm not going to say anything because it would be kind of spoiling. So I'm not gonna
I think
I'm
I
not
might have
gonna do
spoiled
that.
that
But
a little bit.
uh, well, no, you gave a decent description of what the scene looked like for sure. But there's actually a twist about those two people that are said in, I think, like a later episode, I believe, and it really, let's just say, it really does. It surprised me, at least, that's for sure. I mean, it definitely wasn't something I expected to hear, because when you first take a look at the situation, you just automatically just assume, oh, they're dating, because he's getting basically defensive about some other guy looking at the girl that he's with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really interesting, and I probably kind of still spoiled it a little bit because that was kind of hinting at what was potentially said in that episode. Um, but it shocked me for sure. Um, but go on. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, but you said it. Watch it. It's called Lookism. Let us know in the comments or let us know in the next stream if you're curious. But we're gonna move on to a series that's, well, we could say has one side, then there's the other side,
Oh
and
yeah.
that and this is a zombie apocalypse drama series called The Last of Us. And what's great about the title is not what you might think of what it is. Well, you might actually think what it is. And so pretty much to sum it up, we're not gonna try to break it down because it's a lot, but we're gonna like tell you about
Well, I mean, if we try to break it down, we got to go into like the games first, and then the
yeah, but like
series and
this was a
everything like that.
this started as a gaming series from a company named Naughty Dog. That if you play the Uncharted games, they're part of that. And they made this.
Goated game.
They
Goated
made
game.
this.
That's all that.
Yeah,
All I have to say.
they made this series back in like 2000, say 13 or so, May 15, but or May actually May 18. No, it was out on the PS3
2013, I believe.
13. So it was out during the PS3, Xbox 360, but PlayStation
I
was more.
believe it was 2013.
It was more towards PlayStation, but it's a story of like not just about zombies, but it's like you will learn something about like parenthood, brotherhood, sisterhood,
Oh yeah.
revenge, the whole 10 yards. And they made two games before they decided to make a series out of it. They finished the game. We might get a third one. That's still up and down at the time. At this moment.
I honestly hope they kind of do make a third one, in my opinion, for my own reasons. But it's just because I feel like with how they ended things, they could definitely and do one last game where it just kind of it's like a closure for the story in a sense, you know.
For the one
But that's just me.
for the ones who are watching, if you're a zombie fan, this is a good series. It's a good movie, a series. Good series to watch. Not just of the zombie aspect, but like a little more everything else. So pretty much to sum up the virus, I'm just gonna say, let's just say Mother Nature took over and use it. You could think, well,
Oh,
but it's like, let's just say, like as today's world's evolved, certain diseases. But let's just say, what if it's a disease so natural you can't stop it? So there's this is actually a real thing called cordyceps, but in this world, it only affects insects, ants, spiders, mainly on the ant side, but like spiders and others. This is a real,
mostly insects.
yeah,
It hasn't exactly evolved quite well enough to affect people quite yet.
yeah. So this is a real fungus called cordyceps, and let's just say if you can change that, and let's just say that was they can what if instead of attaching insects and animals, they attack animals, but a specific one, us humans. And well, this is like whole breakdown. We're gonna try to go every in depth, but there's a lot of up and down. So season one, they made a series. If you know the character, if you know the actor who's in Fantastic Four and other certain movies, Pedro Pascal. There's a whole bunch of other actors and actresses. We can go on and on. Sorry, there's a lag going on tonight's stream here. We're gonna keep moving. Oh, I guess I might have lost AJ. Sorry for the lag. We'll continue on if you're joining. As it goes on, like, uh, and we'll be right back. Sorry.
Hello. Apologies.
Apologize for the delay there, but it looks like the system's starting to get back in order. But we'll continue on. So yeah, Last of Us. So there's this virus called the cordyceps, or a natural fungus that infects humans, and humans turn certain zombies that we could. There's like the stages called the runners to the clickers, which is pretty much they go by echolocation, and they grow. Actually, no. Before that goes to I want to say the hunters, but stalkers to then cordyceps to then this massive being called a bloater, and it goes further than that. But to pretty much just to talk about, because they did season one, it was a hit, and then they do season two based on the second game, and second game kind of teaches about revenge cycles, where it's like if you want to hunt someone down over them, and all right, well, you should see it, but like if you just go, you hunt someone down, they eliminate someone of something or someone, in this case, a part of you, and if you do it, it's like you think it it's over, but it's like there's this other cycle where it's like now you got that person chasing you to end their hatred, but as you feel like, all right, I'm done, I'm just moving on, I did my part, but I did what I did. It's like, oh wait, now it's just like that person, and it just goes on and on. And well, I'll hand off to AJ for a little more deep background into it, and just maybe some ups and downs and all the drama of this series.
Okay, I want to get into definitely about season 2 of the series for Last of Us. There is a lot of controversy with this series, specifically this season, and I mean, we all knew that at least for the second game, Joel was gonna die eventually in the second game at some
Well,
point.
before we actually continue, so the characters are Joel, Ellie. The main characters, we'll say, Joel, Tommy, Ellie, Abby, Owen,
Mel,
Mel,
Nora,
Nora,
and Dina for sure.
and Dina. Those are
I
like
don't
there's a
remember
lot.
the other. Oh, Manny also. I forgot
Manny.
about him.
But
I don't remember the exact others.
those
It's
are
been a
those are
while.
9 characters that are practically like the main, but mainly goes down to like 6 or 7. But continue on.
Or like 3 or 4 maybe at the best, but I mean, yeah. But going back to what I was saying, I mean, in the second game, we all like speculated that Joel was going to die at some point in the second game. I think what
Big
everybody,
spoiler, sorry, but
yeah, apology.
spoiler warnings. We're gonna break it down, but make sure to watch.
Again, apologies for that, but we all knew that was going to happen in the second game. Which once the series came out, the show came out, we knew that was going to happen again. And what I think a lot of people did not like was the fact that it happened so early. And I'm standing by that. I personally, I think was really interesting. I found it interesting and intriguing of the decision that was made for them to do that such early on in the game. I mean, obviously they had to follow it up in the season 2 of the show, obviously the same way and like earliness, basically. But for it to happen so early in the game, I think was a very interesting choice because we knew that in the second game, it was really going to definitely focus on Ellie a bit more. We like every gamer who played the first Last of Us game, we all knew that was coming. It was going to for sure focus on a bit more Ellie than it would Joel.
If we're gonna do spoilers here, should we go to season 1 a little bit on some big parts, or you want us to go right to 2 for the viewers?
We could do a little breakdown on season 1. I'm just kind of starting it off with Joel's death because I mean that was definitely a major factor for both the second game and the second season. I mean, I just knew that for sure was like a major aspect of the controversy about both the show for season 2 and the second game. So I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way and dealt with. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people who end up seeing this and being like, well, I mean, Abby was wrong and everything like that. And then you'd get some other people who's just like, well, Ellie was no different.
But the one thing was, apparently, I didn't know about going with the actor Pedro. During his roles, he actually took kind of like one character short season, or at least a short part, and ends up dying. So it's just when they did Joel, when they did Joel, and if you know the game, you'd be like, oh, okay, all right. And then like if you're like, oh, if you're not know about the game, you know about the show. You're like, oh, I know Pedro. Don't know much about this character. That's where
Yeah,
the conflict gets hit because
I
people,
think it's also because Pedro
like,
has
yeah,
such a well-known role about dying characters. So I think a lot of people, I guess, wanted to see him a bit more as Joel and kind of get more of like the, I guess, an experience with him as the character. But it's just, I don't know. I mean, I do gotta say, I think it was definitely kind of ironic and a little just a tad funny that they chose the one actor in the world who's had I don't know how many character deaths, but it's like he's well known for that. So I thought that was kind of ironic that they chose to cast Pedro as Joel, but I gotta say he did a wonderful job with Joel. His portrayal as the character in general for the show was just phenomenal, and I do feel bad about not being able to see him a bit more as Joel, but at the same time, I think if anybody I wanted to have play the character, I don't know if they could have played Joel that well. I mean, down to the extent that Pedro had done. I think he did phenomenal in his portrayal for Joel. So I don't know. I mean, again, that's definitely, I think, again, a part of the whole controversy about the season 2 for the show. But that's just at least my opinion about that. But yeah, I'll hand it back to Amon real quick for what he was going to bring up.
oh, well, I guess we'll just to give you a quick recap. So Joel is a father character, and during this apocalyptic moment, he had a daughter, and unfortunately, there was like I'm not gonna go full spoilers here, but just there was a big chase scene, and they escaped. He's holding his daughter. They're running. He's escaping, and so he stumbles, and there's the zombies. They're running at him, trying to get him, and then they all got killed by a military guy.
Yep.
But as you know, the military trying to be very protective on what comes in, what comes out, and trying to take any chances. This military guy is trying to be a little humble because it's like he probably knows he's not fit, but it's like he's just following orders.
Well, but you also got to take into account for that he had his daughter with him too. So
Yeah,
it wasn't
so
just
like
about.
he understood what was
Yeah.
happening, but orders were orders, and he pulled the rifle at him, and Joel, being just do like a shield. As soon as the army guy fired, he like twist his body to try to at least take like a bullet in the back, maybe in the stomach. But fortunately,
I mean, just to kind of jump in here a bit, it was definitely a parental instinct.
yeah.
I mean, as a parent, I mean, I obviously don't have children, but I mean, from experiences like knowing parents, I mean,
well, if you're a parent, a big brother protecting or a big sister protecting you. So,
but yeah, I mean, out of that instinct, you just have like a switch that hits in you, and it's like, oh, I gotta protect this person. I have to like shield them from what's about to happen. So I mean, it's that moment. I'll hand it back to you.
so when it happened, he twists trying to like take the bullet, but I guess for him being the lucky one, unfortunately in this case, but the net bad luck of it, the bullet actually when he twisted, it actually like I don't know if it grazed, but it literally went. It like the bullet went through his shirt. I don't know.
I
But
want to say I don't know if it grazed him, but I do want to say maybe it probably did go through him.
like it went through him, but it didn't hit. It didn't hit any organs or go through. It somehow like either swayed, went through the shirt. But unfortunately, it got to her. It got to the daughter.
Unfortunate.
Right in the middle, and it's a sad scene when you first. I mean, let's just react when you first play the game, not knowing
Oh,
what's going
God.
on. What was your feel?
I actually cried. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely cried a little bit. Probably for like 10 minutes. I actually had to like pause the game, set it down, and just kind of like take a walk because that was such an emotional scene. And I'm
For me, when I played, I'm like, oh, maybe we're gonna be like I've seen gameplay of it, but just taking it as a new look, I'm like, oh, I feel like we're gonna be this character for a bit because like you're starting with this character, you're moving around, you're like, okay, you're gonna be with this character, and then pow. Well, in this case, just to give
yeah.
you, just to give you a, sorry,
Oh, you looking for a sound effect?
pow. Pretty much an explosion in your mind. You're like, what? And so, fast forward 10 years now. As time goes on, we don't know much about, but in the game it helps you clarify a little bit. But
A little bit.
But time goes on, and he becomes kind of like, in order to survive in this apocalyptic world, in order you kind of just take like, I don't really, well, not it's not a bounty hunter, but we call
Well,
it.
he's kind of like, I don't want to say a mercenary, but he is more like the muscle.
Well, yeah, but no, but I'm just trying to think like, what's that? Well, like pretty much he becomes a transporter.
Yeah,
He's a smuggler. He becomes a smuggler.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, he becomes a smuggler, but during that time, you're probably wondering why that happened to the military. So the military pretty much was beat, but some that survived kind of made an organization called Federal. You kind of think probably like the federal government, you could say, in this world.
Yeah,
Built a kind of like a security army force to secure every big city. So the military, from like The Walking Dead, Operation Colbart. That's probably not the word, but in The Walking Dead, the military pretty much dropped all their missiles and not nukes, but just at least missiles and napalms to try to take out the big cities. So in the
let's
Last
just
of
say,
Us,
in a sense, they did kind of nuke the place a bit.
in Last of Us,
Not exactly with nukes, but
they did the same format. So certain big cities, like you can say here in the Bay Area of San Francisco, to then go to New York, DC, Seattle, any big population, Dallas, Texas, the whole even around the world. We don't actually. What's funny enough, they don't tell what's happening around the world, but assuming if it's an apocalypse happening, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But going back, so he becomes a smuggler, and he gets his contract, pretty much a mission on smuggling this one person that apparently is immune. And the reason I'm putting in air quotes, there's a lot of speculation to the word immune in this case.
Well, definitely in the moment when they find out about it.
When they find out about it. So apparently
we could also always come back to this on another day and kind of dive a little deeper into the whole immunity sense.
But we could even as well. Maybe we could tag this next week just to continue it a little bit.
Yeah.
But for us though, you should see it. It's on Max if you have it. It's still out there. 2 seasons. What's great about when you watch it, they kind of give a little behind the scenes on how they make it, and the actors talk about the characters. It's really well done, and all the people that made it. So that will help you kind of clarify what's happening, how they did it, and all of that, all those questions.
I want to say, besides the casting for Joel, I think the casting for all of the other characters were just
Actually, no.
amazing.
Actually, maybe before we end up, I think for now we're gonna probably just take this next week, just give you a full breakdown. But for us, we're just gonna tell you about the actors because, unfortunately, one character named Bella Ramsey. In case you don't know her, if you've seen Game of Thrones, that's when for me it was Game of Thrones. But she's in probably another, I think X-Men.
That
X-Men.
was another big part of the controversy.
So so there was a lot of speculation. There was actually the actress that plays Elena. She was actually up for role. There was I think there was even some cosplayers that if you on Instagram, there's a lot of people that like cosplay. I think I've heard even one of them almost was up for the role.
Yeah, they had I think gotten into or had contact with the directors or whatever about getting
Florence Pugh. I'm not sure I pronounced your name.
Florence Pugh,
right? Who play Yelena? Who plays Yelena? But she also played. She was in Oppenheimer, but she was up for.
She's been in a few things since her MCU.
She was up for the role, and the news broke out. People were like, "All right, But then the director made a decision and picked Bella Ramsey just because, and I agree, she plays this certain character in a way that she was used in the game, which is like funny, a little charismatic, but still dealing with like a cycle of grief because during the apocalypse there's a whole story. We'll break it down next week, but
yeah, we'll definitely break it down about Wednesday.
Role, but for some reason there was a lot of hate.
Oh,
I mean, it's just even being mean.
Okay, I will say when The Last of Us show did first get announced to be in production, first season.
We're like, who's going to be? Who's going to be? We got Pedro being control. We got this character being this character.
I was very hesitant a little bit just because I myself haven't watched Game of Thrones. I know I'm gonna get
for you, she was an X-Men. I mean, for you, she was an X-Men.
No,
no.
No,
I'm mixing her with the other actress face.
I said she did look like the actress who played, or actor at this point, who did play Kitty Pryde in the X-Men films. But
yeah, I probably got mixed. I'm sorry, I mixed those up for some reason.
I forget their name.
But yeah, but yeah, like for me when for her, I was like, oh, I'm like, this is interesting.
Yeah, I was definitely intrigued at the choice. I will say I was definitely a little hesitant just because I didn't know her all that well, so I was just like, okay, well this should be interesting. And to my surprise, at least in my opinion, I think her portrayal for Ellie was really good. I think I do believe that she did Ellie justice in the show. I mean, her performance with Ellie was phenomenal. The chemistry, in a sense, with Pedro as Joel was just. I mean, I gotta say it was perfect, a perfect duo, in my opinion. I mean, they worked real well together.
Like when Pedro got cast for that character, I'm like, well, if you were Tommy, this would be you probably will last a little longer. But it was like you're Joel. I'm like, you definitely know he has to look a little bit. But I was just like, well, if people are going to be into this and this actor, I'm like, you don't want to know what happened.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think they picked Pedro just because again, like I said before, I mean, he's very well known for a lot of the characters that he's played, and a lot of them do die off.
So yeah, but going back to Bella a little bit, yeah, there was like God,
There was so much hate. I think she had even said that she was, at some point, she got off social media for a bit because she was getting death threats and whatnot.
not like
I
that.
know the actress who was playing Ellie, not Ellie, Abby, for sure got death threats and everything. I mean, it was bad. For Bella though, I don't know. I mean, I don't know exactly what the exact issue is with her as Ellie. I don't really see one. I mean, again, just in my opinion, I mean, she did Ellie pretty well. So I mean, I don't know about that one. I
I know
think,
if they went Florence, sure, because if knowing playing like Elena, she has that charismatic and like humor jokes, which Ellie does. But I mean, like it just depends how. I guess you would think of it if you were making a choice. It depends like how high of like you want to go beyond. Try to like make like pretty much a dream squad where a lot of people always view.
yeah,
Or
there's always gonna be like what ifs and like, well, they could have done
or you
this.
want to at least take it down a little bit. Be like, just go for someone that's had some experience. I mean, uh, like as you said, Florence probably she did a lot of films, a little more than definitely probably more than Bella Ramsey. But like, I mean, it was what the choice was, and yeah, as we were saying, like there was
I
so
just also
drama.
believe I'll probably dive into a little bit more of this in a separate topic later on down the line. But I mean, in my opinion, I just think that I think people really, us as humans, we got to understand that we can't really change things regarding castings or whatever. If we're not working on the project ourselves, we can't really do anything about it. And I don't think complaining about that either is going to help the situation any more than how you believe that it should have gone in your eyes. I mean, there's always going to be, like I said, there's always going to be the like what ifs, the like, well, they could have done this, they could have done that, they should have done this, they should have done that, stuff like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just what choices get made just kind of get made. It's not like we're writing the stuffs ourselves and then producing it on our own like area in a sense, you know. So I mean, I guess in I guess what I'm trying to say in a sense is like we don't exactly have a right to, in a sense, discourage the producers, the directors, or anything like that, or even hate on the actors or actresses who get casted as these characters. It's not really our place to do that. I mean, sure, we could do that on our own time and everything like that, but I mean, there's certain lines that people shouldn't cross, is more or less where I'm trying to get at.
But yeah, I mean, like as you said, like, but these the sorry, going a little off script here, just because recently, like with this, but recently, even just in general, uh, of like there's so much drama that I mean, what's great about these actors and actors that get this sort of hey, they keep moving on and just keep going.
Well,
They
I
just
mean, regardless of what they're doing, whether if people like them or not, they're still getting publicity about it. So, I mean, it's really just you're still giving them attention regardless of what kind of attention you're doing or giving out, is what I meant.
But yeah, so that will do it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. We'll go a little more in depth on The Last of Us. Stay tuned for next week. That'll be our main topic. Sorry, I went a little off script with that. It just felt like something. Even AJ and I, we even talk about like when we have our conversations on the phone. So it just felt like something to share and have our piece. But you can
Yeah, I mean, like
it's all right.
Like what we said before. I mean, comment, type something into our comments. Because we do want to hear your guys' opinions as well. I mean, it's not just our stuff that we want to get out there. It's just, we want to include everybody in some form. So
But yes, stay tuned for next week. We're gonna go and really try to go as much in depth of this Last of Us. Everything from season 1, season 2, characters. We'll break it all down for you. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week.